A very, very good morning to all and a warm welcome to each and everyone. Welcome to Cairo, welcome to ERF and ILO, and welcome to the expert group meeting on jobs and growth in North Africa. A topic that is really particularly close to our hearts and minds, a topic that concerns a great number of households, of policymakers and experts, and of nations in North Africa. Why? Experts tell us that North Africa is the world region with the highest unemployment rate, especially among the youth and the new entrants, that a high share of working poor, extensive labor informality, and a very low level of female labor market participation are distinctive features, that these employment challenges are coupled with substantial levels of inequality and poverty, that demographic pressures are still strong, the youth are a sizable share of the labor market, and high shares of new entrants will continue to join the labor market for at least another generation. They tell us that rising primary, secondary, and tertiary education enrollment has to a large extent failed to translate in rising productivity and better employment for many. They tell us that the demographic trends and the labor market imbalances point to the need for North African countries for economic growth, which generates more and better jobs to provide opportunities for the new entrants and the unemployed, and to improve the working conditions for those currently exposed to different forms of precarious employment. They tell us that the economic growth experienced in the last 2 decades in the region has been often described as jobless growth. Good morning again to all. And it's really lovely to see friends of ERF and friends of the ILO around the table Saturday morning. So I really, really appreciate the commitment and the excitement that everybody's coming with to say, so what are we going to talk about? So I thought I'll give a little taste of what it is that experts are going to be telling us in a very formal way to just bring us all onto around the table quickly. Now, so why are we here? What is missing? What is missing, what can be done, and what is needed? And because Raghi is always at the forefront of trying to see what it is that ERF and can do to serve the region, we believe very strongly that effective public policy is to a large extent a factor of the quality of national discourse that informs and monitors it, that improving the national discourse involves breaking silo tendencies within economics and economic policy making, with macro, micro, labor, and other economic disciplines engaging only too rarely, enhancing. Now we come to the data bit. Enhancing the availability, reliability, and use of key economic data, including labor statistics, or mitigating ideological preconceptions and mistrust among individuals. In an increasingly complex intellectual field, all too often labor economists or other social scientists focusing on social policy are not or only vaguely conversant with key economic policy fields. On the other hand, to most monetary or fiscal economists, the unemployment rate encapsulates what they need to know about the state of the labor market. Why are we here today? We are here to create the first expert group network to really meet those challenges. The objective of this network is to foster dialogue and collaboration across economists, social scientists, and data producers around the twin goal of promoting jobs and growth, ultimately to strengthen evidence-based policy making. While the characteristics differ widely, North African countries have a lot in common and a lot to learn from and about each other. The network will be convened by ERF and ILO with support from SIDA as part of the ADWA project, including organizing a regional conference every year in a North African country, commissioning research papers and the production of an annual report. I'd like to really give special thanks to the ERF and ILO management and teams, and particularly to Luca Fedi, to Ragi Assad, and to Iman Al-Hadari and Marwa Al-Fai for making this happen and leading the initiative. And before we start our program, we have an apology from Eric Oshla, director of the ILO Cairo office. He was hoping to be with us today, but he had to deal with a family emergency. So we're going to be asking Luca to give his welcome remarks, and we'll be joined, and he'll follow on from the welcome remarks to tell us about, to start the first session, telling us about defining the research agenda for jobs and growth in North Africa. The first session is going to have Luca presenting that definition of the research agenda, and then Ragi is going to be telling us about moving forward, moving beyond the unemployment rate, alternative measures of labor market outcomes to advance the decent work agenda, and then we'll open the floor to discussion. Let me introduce Luca. Luca is the employment policy specialist for North and East Africa at the International Labor Office based in Cairo. He studied economics and political science at Sciences Po in France and at the Geneva Graduate Institute. He started his career as a researcher and joined ILO in 2005 in the employment department in Geneva. And he's really got very impressive experience in the region. He's worked for 5 years in the Middle East, 2 years in the regional office in Africa, and 6 years in North Africa. With that, I introduce Luca.